I've been in the e-commerce game for over 6 years now, and the dropshipping model has completely flopped. Watch this.
Well, I definitely can't say that I didn't see this coming. I saw it coming from a mile away, and it is time to finally shed some light and give some transparency in an industry that really doesn't have much of that. Now, don't forget to enter our giveaway. All you got to do is like, subscribe, and comment. 2 winners every video, about $1,000 worth of value. Go ahead and enter right now. Do not get distracted by big numbers. Ooh, here's a big screenshot for you. This is a brand that I've been working on for about 8 months. It's done $1.1 million in sales, and if you notice this number right here, no dropshipping store will ever touch a 10% returning customer rate or roughly a 4% conversion rate. It never happens. Do not get distracted by big numbers. I have thousands of screenshots. Every industry has big revenue numbers. There's more to it than that. This is a dropshipping store I had. This dog water bottle did over $2 million in sales. I let the store die. I also let this one die, selling pizza blankets, doing $2,500 a day just with Facebook ads. This one, wall clocks, $3,000 a day. I also let that one die. This one, really cool electric lighters. Super awesome product, $5,000 a day. Yeah, I let that die. This really cool phone case where from the side you can't actually see the screen. $5,000 per day. Again, that one also died. None of these stores were anything special. It was just semi-cool products, a pretty good video, and a lot of skill behind running the ads. All of those variables are completely duplicatable. Use the course below. This is the only public training that we have available, you guys. We don't do discounts on it. It's less than what you're going to spend testing on ads in a couple days. We do that on purpose. The program is very inexpensive. That's where you actually get to see me run ads live, pick products live, do everything there pre-recorded inside of that. So be sure to check it out. It's the only thing we have besides YouTube here, which, there's a lot more stuff we can get into. So why has the dropshipping model become hard to sustain? I am arguably, and I truly, you can throw out some names if you want, I don't know anybody who has seen all 3 intersections as deep as I have in the e-commerce world. From a guru perspective, I know basically every single person in the industry that teaches, and if I don't know them personally, I know a lot of people that know them personally. So, I could bring half of the industry to their knees with one 10-minute video explaining the truth about a lot of them. Also, I've seen the dropshipping model for many, many years because I've done $10+ million in sales dropshipping. And then the brand model, where now I buy or take equity in existing brands. So I've seen what the fulfillment processes are. I know the payment processing regulations deeper than most people in the e-commerce space. I probably didn't need to go that deep, but I have. So I have a very, very clear picture on every point of the industry, and I want to explain to you why the dropshipping model has become really hard to sustain. Blame 2 types of people. Number 1, dropshippers. Most of them are absolute clowns, and they're the ones that cause these problems. I'm going to explain that, and I'm also partly to blame for this, for sure. You'll just watch this. And number 2, the bullies at Facebook. I guess you could call it Meta now. It will always be known as Facebook to me. This clown right here, I can't stop laughing. Anyways, Facebook implemented feedback scores and a lot more customer inputs because of what dropshippers, they look exactly like this, what these guys were doing over on Facebook, again, now known as Meta. So what they were doing is basically running a lot of ads, making a ton of money, and a lot of people either weren't fulfilling their products or they were drop shipping them from China, and some shipping times were 2 months, maybe even into 3 during Chinese New Year. It was ridiculous. Customers were upset. People were complaining. So Facebook started implementing systems where the customers have a say. They can report it. They can rate 1 out of 10. How was your experience? Over time, they built a better feedback system where now your customers can pretty much take you out of business very quickly too. So those feedback scores and more customer input just really made it a lot harder for Facebook ads to work for someone in the dropshipping or even the e-commerce business model. The problem is their automated systems that they built, it started causing issues for people who weren't even dropshipping, right? The people who had real brands and weren't doing anything wrong. And in fact, a lot of my stores had 3-week shipping times, and eventually they got taken down. I didn't really think we were doing anything wrong, but also because that one went down, they ripped down my brand because it was in the same business manager. My brand, where we had inventory, 3 to 6 day shipping depending on where you were, I had so much money invested, they took it down. And so there's a lot of issues like that where that spillover has made it very hard for people to effectively run Facebook ads. So it's just something to consider. That's a can of worms for another day. But like always, marketers ruin it. Marketers ruin everything. Any platform, TikTok ads right now, very hot, it will eventually be ruined. It's not a question of if, it is a question of when. The next point I wanted to talk about is the risk mitigation with payment aggregators. This is one of the most important pieces to understand, and I promise you next to nobody in the e-commerce business actually knows how the payment processing works. In less than 30 seconds, I'm going to give you what I've spent tens of thousands of dollars to learn and to understand properly. I'm going to give you a high-level overview. Imagine that all of these little boxes right here, there's hundreds of thousands of them, every single single one is a different person running a different e-commerce business. Like, oh, these 3 right here are your 3 e-commerce stores. These 2 over here are mine. What's going to happen is a company like Stripe is going to have one main account through a bank. They have their own one payment processing account. They turn around and sell their services to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people. Well, what they have to do is manage the risk of that entire portfolio so that overall their total chargeback rate, refund and dispute rate, anything like that is still very healthy on an entire level. So that's why a lot of payment processors, and more so known as payment aggregators, which would be like Stripe and Shopify payments, which are the same thing, PayPal, none of those are real payment processors. They're an aggregator, a middleman. How do you know that? If you can instantly be approved, there's no application process, there's no review process, it's an aggregator, not a processor. They do their underwriting later. So a lot of these places have high risk departments where you can pay much higher fees. So they're like, well, we have 100,000 customers that have great brands, companies, physical stores, they never get chargebacks. Let's open up a small department for 10% of our business where we can charge a 6% processing fee. That's where they make their killing, and overall their one merchant account still stays very healthy. So that's pretty much how it works, which means if you go past a 1% chargeback rate with Stripe / Shopify payments / PayPal, you're gonna have very aggressive holds and probably pretty quickly get banned off their platform with no warning. So that's what happens on the payment processor space. Their regulations got tighter because people abuse the system. That's really what it is. Okay, something I wanted to say real fast is you cannot ever, no matter how much skill you have, you just cannot ever come close to touching the numbers a real brand can that has an organic component and an audience and all that stuff. You just cannot touch it. I promise you, you can't. A constant 10 to 20% boost in the sales. You have recurring customers. You get people coming from email, people tagging people. Trust me, I'm really good at ads. I am really good at ads. You cannot compare to that no matter how good you are with dropshipping. I'm telling you, it is so much more work to build a brand, but you cannot compare those results. It makes such a big difference having that extra boost every day for sure. So let me give you this first little intro piece. Here's how to still dropship. Some basic things to consider if maybe you don't want to front a bunch of money for inventory. And the goal, by the way, is not to stay in this vertical forever. Dropshipping would be a vertical that allows you to get into an industry. So use that money that you make, go buy inventory, go put some systems in place. You'll understand that here in a moment, so that you can then sustain this long term. So that's the goal. And also when you go reinvest in the inventory and stuff, you get a lot of tax advantages, okay? So you're gonna need sub 12-day shipping times. Any longer than that, I've found 14, 15, honestly starts causing too many problems. Now, if you have, and this is a very key point for dropshippers, if you have a custom product, a t-shirt where they get to put their name on it, right? A water bottle where they get to put their dog's picture on it, whatever the product is. If it's custom, you can push the envelope, which just means your fulfillment can be a little bit shittier. That's really all that means. But in reality, a custom product is going to take longer to create. So naturally, that disparity isn't a huge gap. So just keep it in mind, you really want to get your product in the hands of your customers with decent packaging as quickly as possible. So be definitely under that 2-week shipping time. Almost nobody is. Connect with Dropshipping Agents, by the way. Those agents will help you source it. TikTok ads is really the only safe bet right now. Google, very slow. You can try TikTok, you can do Pinterest. I've never seen anybody achieve real consistency for over about a year and making millions of dollars. I've never really seen anything go beyond that. So TikTok is by far right now the best bet. Then once you have sales coming in, you've dialed in your process, go run retargeting over on Facebook to warm up your ad account. You know, this is not going to be an ad account video, but then you can start doing other things. So start with TikTok ads. It's also working very well for us. Have a really good email sequence over the first 2 weeks. Keep people updated with their order. Send them the tracking. Basic stuff, guys. Number 4, verify product quality. I still don't know why nobody ever does this. It seems like no dropshippers have ever ordered from their own store. Do it. Double check the product cost. A lot of times when you're dropshipping, your supplier will slip in a receipt or a business card in there with Chinese letters all over it, letting someone know that the product was $3.04. You sold it for $25. It's not a good look. Now, here's what your next 3 steps should be if you want to get into the dropshipping business model or anything e-commerce related. Even if you tried it before and it hasn't worked for you, here's 3 steps you should do. Number 1, obviously enter our giveaway. All you got to do is like, subscribe, and comment. Again, 2 people in every single video get chosen. 1 person who comments in the first hour of the video going live, and another person a couple days later. 1 gets free access into our $500 e-commerce program. Again, check that out below. Greatest training on the market for e-commerce. Also, the other person who's going to get picked a couple days later gets a free custom-built Shopify store. So a great way just to help you get started. Follow my Instagram for the winning details on that. Second step, if, and I want to make this so freaking clear, only if you are actually going to start then enroll in the program. The reason I say that is because constantly I see people join who have already spent $2,500 on ads, $1,700. They blew through it in 2 weeks. They had no idea in heck what they were doing, and they just wasted the money. It's just not worth it. One teeny tiny change on the Shopify store and this little thing with your ads makes all the difference. That's it. Okay, so that's the second step, is definitely get in there below. And number 3, take 90 days to build a skill. The reason I'm saying this, most people do not commit to something. The problem is they'll try it, they'll give it 2 months, but then when it's not working, they'll stop. Don't stop there if it's not working. Because listen to this, this really changed my life when I started paying attention to this one line. It works. So if it's not working, it's on you, not the model. This is the same thing for anything else. Real estate, you want to build a software company. Why is your software company not making money? Can no software companies ever make money? False. I know somebody who just exited theirs for $74 million. 100% exit sole owner, $74 million. Obviously, people make a lot of money with software. The problem is either your software is not good, your marketing around it's not good, something is not good. Take responsibility for that, take ownership for that, fix something, and keep trying new stuff. It's not the problem with the business. It might be how you structure the model, but there's a lot of other things that can take place. So just try to take that ownership. It's really helped me in my business. Okay, this concludes my rant. I've seen all 3 sides of the business, probably more in depth than anyone else. Again, the guru side, the dropshipping side, and the brand building side. I'm sure there's people who are way more in depth on the brand building side. And I'm sure there's people who are way more in depth on just this. And there's definitely people who are more in depth on just this. I'm impressed by the people that can run cold ad webinar traffic to sell a $4,000 e-commerce program, even though they don't even do e-commerce. Kind of confusing, right? But I guarantee you there's really not a lot of people who know all 3 of these and have seen it. And I've enjoyed seeing that. I've learned so much and it's helped me. So to summarize, if you are going to dropship because you don't want to order inventory and get some custom packaging, which really doesn't cost all that much, work with a dropshipping agent, get pretty quick shipping times, make sure you're taking care of your customers, and as soon as you can, move out of that vertical. Dropshipping is not the lane you want to stay in. Here's why. Even if you can sustain it, I promise you at some point, even if your customers aren't complaining, something else is going to happen. Your merchant's going to have an issue, your ad account's going to have a problem, something else is going to happen, and it will just be better to have better feedback overall because you built a brand, and I promise you you'll make more money long term doing that. So obviously focus on the short term as well, but once things get going, have that slightly long term vision, be willing to reinvest the money to do it. It will definitely help you in the long run. I've made that mistake, so that's why I'm telling you. So to wrap up, enter the giveaway, like, subscribe, and comment as well. Don't forget to join the e-commerce course if you're not in there. Definitely a great resource, and goodbye.